Why are we here again? We're not even friends with these people.
You're not, but my daughter happens to be friends with everyone else in your family. My son indirectly helped your wife reform Studio Donna, and I told you all the truth about Prudence Lacroix, so show some respect.
Hear the music? They totally stole that from my movie.
Shut up, Mayor von Hinton. This isn't your daydream. Stop it, Grande. You and your blue pill of happiness are up next, but this is Tiamo's wedding.
We are gathered here today to celebrate the union of this vampire and this merman. And since we all know that they can't wait to get this over with and move on to the wedding night, I'll keep it short. Do you, Tiamo Mammini, take Leviathan to be your lawfully wedded husband, and do you promise to love and honor him, and not cheat on him with ancient vampires, aliens in slutty outfits, or the mayor's sons, for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
And you, Leviathan Hightide, do you take Tiamo to be your lawfully wedded husband, and do you promise to love and honor him, and let him suck you dry until you die, because as a vampire he will most certainly outlive you?
I do.
Then by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and husband. You may seal this union with a kiss.
So beautiful. So perfect.
Forget it, Mum. I'm not going to marry Leviathan.
Why not? You two are meant for each other.
What makes you so sure? You haven't even met him.
Yeah, he vanished rather quickly after our insightful chat with Charmaine yesterday.
He does that a lot.
But I know that he loves trolling people by stealing their stuff and causing thunderstorms. He saved you from a shark and killed it in the process. I told you that whoever caught me a shark for dinner would become my new favorite child, didn't I?
We never ate that shark though, and Leviathan is not your child.
Not yet, but when he and Tiamo get married, he'll be my son-in-law, and I couldn't possibly ask for a better one. And you've already slept together, so you might as well make it official.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was a time when the mere idea of one of your children going soft and developing romantic feelings for somebody used to scare the shit out of you. Remember your initial reaction to Willie's friendship with the Bells kid?
Rainbow hair wasn't right for Wilbica, and neither Charmaine nor Stella Maria was right for you. This time I'm sure.
Well, too bad, bitch, and I can't be witnesses. I am not an adult in the eyes of most people, and I'm positive that dogs don't qualify at all.
That's discrimination.
The rules are different in the magic realm. Perhaps we should hold the ceremony there, with High Priestess Domoris instead of Father Sexwell. The ageless sage won't be invited though.
Or perhaps you could stop racking your brain about an event that is never going to happen. You too, Grande. Stop taking notes.
He's not taking notes of your dream wedding, but signing up for a spa membership. Like it matters. I told you, Grande, we're not staying long enough for that to pay off, even if you claim to be LGBT and get a discount.
This is not for a membership, but a newsletter.
Just as useless from a spa you're never going to visit again, especially if they make you fill out a 10-page form for it.
It's a personalized newsletter. I have to tick the topics I'm interested in. The actual topics only cover 3 pages. The rest is for personal data with a very long list of gender options to choose from. I'm looking for male. Oh, here it is. Under M. Makes sense. And we just learned that Mr. SetsunaMaiou has spas all over the world, so there could be one in our next remote vacation destination too.
Sure, but Shannon won't be there.
Shannon thinks you're a terrible person.
Too bad. You can't even imagine how much sleep I'm going to lose over that.
I realize you were playing a part, but was it really necessary to be that rude?
Political correctness is for politicians. I'm a crime boss. And she was trying to get me to sympathize with predatory fish. I thought you of all people, with your fear of sea dwellers, would be on my side there. Because what I said about humans and animals eating each other wasn't me playing a part. In my world, you either screw people over or get screwed over by them. The residents of Lani St. Tars suffered the latter at the hands of a false prophet centuries ago. You may think I'm harsh for pointing that out, but I say they would be better off if they listened to me and stopped believing in things that aren't real.
Except you're not doing what you're doing to help anyone. You just enjoy acting like a comic book villain.
Maybe, but that's exactly the kind of behavior that got us all what we wanted. And now excuse me, there's someone else I have yet to give what he wants.
Yep, me too.
Where are you going? On another date with Leviathan. Don't forget to propose.
If only I knew anything about that. Perhaps you could propose to Finn first and show me how it's done.
It's not my wedding that Mum is planning. She probably wouldn't approve of Finn anyway. What's wrong?
I think I've seen that guy before. Never mind. I should go.
And you? Are you going to see Shannon again?
Oh yes. We want to go to church together, and she herself will be conducting the service tonight. Isn't that exciting?
As much as a date at church can be, I guess.
Mr. Shimizu, about your money.
You no longer owe him any money, Remiel. If anything, you owe it to me. Isn't that right, Shimizu-sama?
No. What you do with those death flowers in the future is your business, but this dumbass here ordered his last petals from me while I was in charge, and I delivered. For that, I still expect to be paid. And you better pay me too, because if you want my current stock and my list of customers, I'll need more than just your word that you're not going to sell me out.
Fair enough. I'm glad you came to your senses. Yesterday you were still willing to fight over it.
What for? My spa is more important to me than those few customers. I have other connections elsewhere, and a steady supply of death flowers. You on the other hand, will soon run out, and those flowers aren't easy to come by. So enjoy selling my leftovers while you can.
Did I get that right? You are now in control of Mr. Shimizu's business? But how? Everybody on this island who knows him either works for him, is scared of him, or both. And then you come along and just make him your bitch?
I'm standing right here.
Let's call it magic. What happens next is up to you. You could continue buying death flowers from me like you did from Shimizu, or I could give you seeds and you start growing your own.
But that's
illegal on Sulani, I know. But unless you do it out in the open, who's going to find out? Think about it.
So Grande has a date, Tiamo probably does too, and Loki is once again too busy reading to leave the holiday home. What are our plans?
If you have nothing better to do, how about you give me a tour? So far I've only seen this beach, and it's lovely, but not the original Garden of Eden.
Elise, how did you get here so quickly?
Via wormhole. Charmaine didn't want to join me, bad memories of the angel who threw her out last time. But after everything we discussed yesterday, I just had to see it for myself.
What a pity. Even I would go to the Apostle's Mouse tonight if there was a chance of Charmaine crashing it to reveal her deception. Imagine a certain alien's stupid face when she realizes that I was right all along.
Life goals. Anything in particular that you'd like to see, Elise?
Not really. Let's just go for a stroll and take many photos of me in exotic places to confuse my family as to where I've been.
Excellent idea.
Again, Loki? Really? How many more times are you going to walk into this trap until you remember that our house is protected by moon magic?
I was going to deactivate the barrier, but didn't think it was up this time. These things don't even look like moon crystals.
And I don't look like I'm older than you, but I am. Not all moon crystals are white, as you should know by now. If you wish to become a magic expert, you still have a lot to learn.
Well, thank Mother Moon, I have all the time in the world for that.
Yeah, I guess that can be an advantage, if you look at it this way.
Could you be a dear and deactivate the barrier now?
Why? You said you were going to do it yourself, so you must know how. And if not, this is a great opportunity to practice. Have fun.
Cut him some slack, Willy. You don't have to be so strict all the time.
What else can I be, to the person we're grooming to become the next ageless sage?
You mean you are? I'm still not convinced we even need another sage, or that you couldn't fill the role yourself and do better than your predecessor.
Don't be ridiculous. I may be ageless, but that's pretty much my only qualification for the job. A hybrid of 3 supernatural species is a lot more capable of mastering the 13 branches of magic.
So that's Loki's qualification, but what makes you think he's ageless? He was born part vampire, not turned, and so far he's been growing like a normal person.
It's an evolutionary thing. There was a book on that in the library of the magic realm. Born vampires age normally until their 20s, and then they stop, because that's when humans reach their physical peak. The same apparently also happens to vampires who get turned before the age of 20, but there can be exceptions if other magic is involved. In Loki's case, we have to wait a few more years to find out.
Hey, I made it past the barrier without getting shocked again. Is dinner ready?
I don't know, is it? Loki?
What?
I figured since you've apparently exiled yourself to this house, you might as well do something useful and make dinner. Preferably something bloody. In the meantime, if you don't mind, I have work to do.
You mock me for staying indoors, but you brought work to SetsunaMaiou.
The good thing about my job is that I can do it whenever and wherever I want. Before coming to SetsunaMaiou, I told my readers I'd write an article about indigenous artists, and today I got to see a singer at the lounge.
Wouldn't you rather spend time with your new friend?
You mean Leviathan? Did my mother put you up to this? Or the other way around?
Why are you asking?
The day after we arrived on this island, you took me to the beach to wait for something or someone that never showed up. But a few hours later, that's where I went swimming with Leviathan. You knew we were going to meet, didn't you? Now I wonder, what do you know about the future that makes this encounter so important?
If I told you that I just want everyone in this family to be happy for as long as you still can, and you and Leviathan were an amazing match in the past I remember, you probably wouldn't believe me, would you?
I don't know. It's hard to trust someone from the future who knows so much more about you, and who or what you will become, than the other way around, especially when they're not usually forthcoming with information.
Well, in that case, does it even matter what I say?
Probably not. But to answer your question, yes, I'd rather spend my time here doing things other than work. We try to keep up the appearance of a relatively normal family though, so at least one of us has to pursue a normal career. And I have to be extra careful because, as you know, I'm somewhat famous. Which is probably the only reason Leviathan is attracted to me anyway.
I don't think so. But if you don't believe me, you could always just ask him.
I wouldn't even know how to find him. He finds me whenever he feels like it. We may or may not have some fun, then part ways again until the next time. Quite an upgrade from my usual one-night stands, I admit, but still not the ideal basis for the happy marriage my mother has been envisioning.
No one is talking about marriage. Well, except for your mother, but she's not here right now. How about I help you find him, and you just write that article later? After all, you can do your job whenever you want, that's what you said, right?
Are you okay, Corwin? You look nervous.
I am. Just a little bit. Haven't set foot in a church in years, not counting that of the witch hunters in Shadow Vale, where I certainly didn't go for the service.
A witch hunter's church? You'll have to tell me more about that later.
Unbelievable. Then again, why am I even surprised anymore? After everything that cunning seductress has done to convert poor Grande to her side.
If you don't mind, I'd like to attend the service too, just to see what it's like. I hope the warmer climate means that the dress code is less strict around here though, because this is the only outfit I brought.
I can't speak for normal churches in the area, but this one won't throw you out for showing too much skin. Just ask Charmaine about orgies. Or, don't.
Go ahead if you have to, but I can't come with you. I don't usually believe in the superstition of witches getting struck by lightning upon entering a church, but at this point in my relationship with Shannon, she has probably ordered an entire thunderstorm to keep me at bay. Just be careful not to be converted yourselves.
What I want you to take away from this gathering is a lesson most of you already know, but it cannot be stressed enough. We wouldn't be born with brains if we weren't supposed to use them. The Divine Oracle knew that our existence is a game invented by higher powers, and if you want to play along instead of being played, it's best to know the rules. So the next time a metaphorical snake offers you knowledge in the form of a metaphorical fruit, don't hesitate just because you've been taught that it's forbidden. Eat that fruit.
She may be basing her message on a false impression of that oracle's divinity, but the message itself isn't wrong. Change a few words here and there and it might just as well be a quote from my dissertation. I wonder if Charmaine truly realizes what she started here.
Of course, knowledge will not always protect you from danger or pain. Sometimes it is knowledge that causes these things in the first place, making it seem like ignorance would be preferable. But think of all the tragedies you've experienced over the course of your lives. Heartbreak, disease, the loss of a loved one, and ask yourselves, what good would it do if you could just forget about all of them? Some may have taught you valuable lessons that you would never have learned otherwise, made you stronger, shaped you into the person you are today. As painful as these memories may be, they serve a purpose too. Knowledge is power, and knowing yourself is just as important as knowing the world around you. Never forget that.
So this is why you asked me for a photo of my sister. I appreciate it, everything you did today. You're right, even painful memories are better than none at all. There are too many good ones as well that I would never want to forget.
I have to admit that part was improvised. What you told me about your parents pretending their other child never even existed. I still can't get over that, and it must have been so much worse for you.
Actually, the worst part for me, aside from the sadness over her death, was the guilt that came with it, the feeling that it was my fault. I was the older sibling after all. I should have been more responsible that night.
Would Audrey see it that way?
No, and I know that, but still. One reason I specialized in child psychology was to provide mourning children with the help I desperately needed at that age, but never received. I've learned so much about the human mind, the ways we process emotions, cope with negative experiences, and I've used that knowledge to help others. But it all falls flat when it comes to my own baggage. I can't let go.
And you shouldn't, at least not entirely.
Wilbica.
Remember when I was so worried about the future, and losing my family, that I couldn't even think straight? You told me the present is what matters, and you were right, but your advice works both ways. The future is unknown, and the past can't be changed, so neither of them should get to control us. Would your sister want you to be sad every time you think about her?
No, of course not.
Then try to cherish the good memories, let go only of your guilt. That's what I'm planning to do. Once it's my turn.
Thank you, Audrey, for having been a part of my life. I love you, and I will never forget you, no matter what happens.
Well done.
Do you think she's watching from above?
I'm sure of it. Our loved ones never really leave us.
So this is Leviathan, my soon-to-be son-in-law. With how elusive he is, he would actually fit right in with the Evil Alliance as well. How did you know he was going to show up here today?
The same way I knew he was going to show up on the beach at Ornely Town the other day, when he and Tiamo first met. Those books I've been reading ever since we got here, they are history books from the future. One of them just happens to be about Suwane, and a certain mischievous merman who made the island change his playground in the early 21st century. There's an entire chapter dedicated to his favorite places to hang out.
Are you saying he's some kind of historical figure in your time?
Along with Elise Donovan, yes, albeit not quite as infamous. You seem to know a lot of those people.
Of course I do. I'm Mischief.
Are you serious? How is that possible? Even the remotest corners of the world have access to the internet these days.
Maybe so, but as I told you when we first met, I don't have a phone, or a computer, and I don't watch TV either. You see, I know very little about the world outside my home in general, so no, I honestly had no idea you were famous. And I don't care much about such things anyway. No offense.
None taken. I find that fascinating. What do you do all day?
Exploring the ocean and the uncharted regions of Sulani, sleeping in strangers' houses such as this one when they're not home, messing with them when they are. It never gets old. I have many stories to tell.
But do you never get curious about what else the world has to offer?
I've survived just fine without modern technology until now, and I don't feel like I'm missing out.
No, not that. I mean other places. Sulani is without a doubt an awesome corner of the world with lots of interesting sights, but at some point, after spending your entire life here, you must have seen it all, no?
Almost, yes. But I still love the heat, the humidity, the food. This may be just one small corner in a much bigger world, but it's my corner. And I have yet to figure out where exactly the behemoth came from. Can't go anywhere until I know what's up with that. Rumor has it they're the offspring of dinosaurs and the aliens that used to live with the divine oracle.
That would explain the head shape, but how? I mean, ouch.
See, still so many mysteries left to uncover. You and I are technically different species too, but much more physically compatible than humanoid aliens and giant lizards, I'd say. And you haven't even experienced the pleasures my merman tail can bring.
Careful. My mother is watching. And she wants us to get married, you know.
Can she breathe underwater?
No.
Well, in that case...
How rude. Oh wow, that's not the part of their relationship that I'm interested in anyway.
Same here. Time to go.
Elise,
Come in.
where have you been all day? Jaden was looking for you.
You're actually calling him Jaden now?
Well, that's what he prefers to be called, and as far as I know it doesn't mean anything inappropriate, so why not?
I see you're making progress. Sooner or later he won't be calling me his cool aunt anymore because my coolness will easily be overshadowed by that of his mother.
We'll see about that. Anyway, are you hungry? Dinner is ready.
Thanks, but it's been a busy day. I think I'm going to bed early. Surely the dinner prayer is a lot more fun without the agnostic always adding her 2 cents.
Who knows, if I can start calling my son by his preferred nickname, maybe you can find your own way to God someday.
Yes, I just might. Sorry for leaving so abruptly without saying goodbye, Wilbica. But I'll be back. There's just something I need to check.